you're disappointed that lighting the LEGO Enterprise D requires sticking a LED strip on top of the nacelles bricks, you're in luck, because I'm going to show you how to go from this to this. We're going to reconstruct the nacelles using mostly reused bricks. However, there's obviously going to be some additional bricks you'll need. I've listed these bricks in the video description below. Most of them you're already going to have in your collection at home. The others are going to be super cheap and easy to obtain. But let's chat about that later, because I know you're excited to find out how to do this. The first thing you're going to want to do is carefully pry off the top nacelle housing. We're going to make some small modifications to this, but otherwise it'll stay largely intact. Likewise, the buzzard collector. The rest of it, completely dismantle. We're going to start from scratch. Let's start with the top nacelle cover. Dismantle everything forward of bulkhead 47. If you're working on the Syracuse, do bear in mind that the port nacelle cover will need a ton of work, as it's a nightmare. We're now rebuilding the forward section in a way that completely opens up the internal structure of the angled warp-filled grills. The reason being is we later need to create an entirely new support for the grills using transparent components in order to let the light through. We also need to construct a whole new way to securely hold the buzzard collector, as we can't afford all the former Technic components taking up the space in there. Now a couple of pieces for holding the lighting and cabling in place. But don't be like me and forget a couple of bricks here. It's a lot easier installing them now. And finally, the last few pieces of the top nacelle cover. Unfortunately, we do need to completely reconstruct the bottom nacelle cover from scratch. But don't worry, I'm going to guide you through every single step here to get it back together again. I've made it as similar as I could to the original build, while also factoring that we're now integrating the pylon mounting directly into the bottom cover. You wouldn't believe how many different approaches I had to prototype for this, for both the nacelle and the pylons, before I came up with what's ultimately a really simple solution. However, the end result is we're completely emptying the nacelle so that it can house our lighting. A side benefit to all this is the nacelles will sit a fraction lower, correcting a slight imperfection with the original LEGO build that caused the nacelle control room to sit on deck 26 instead of deck 25. As I mentioned, we're reusing as many components as possible, but there are a few minor differences, and I've provided a download link below with all the parts needed for this. Chances are, you'll already have most of these bricks in your LEGO collection. For the remaining bricks though, BrickLink is your friend. Much like eBay, it's full of sellers all over the world who have every brick imaginable. In a nutshell, you upload my parts list from the video description below into your account, and BrickLink will automatically work out which sellers have the bricks you need for the best price and the least number of shipments. This isn't an advert, I get no kickback at all for this. It's just such a super easy way to order LEGO parts. You'll be noticing similarities in the build of the nacelle covers. Again, this is intentional. I re-overhauled this design over and over again to get it as close as possible to the original parts and assembly. What you'll end up with is two completely flat and hollowed out nacelle covers. You'll notice when finished there's a couple of gaps. This isn't a mistake. I've intentionally left these for you to feed the wires down from the buzzard collector into the nacelles power coupling. Now comes the exciting part. We're building the completely transparent nacelle grills. We're going to use 2 layers of transparent blue bricks here to get the right colour while it's unlit, but also correcting a couple of inconsistencies in the original appearance. You need to build 2 of these. And then 1 end grill. After a tremendous amount of failed experiments, I actually found that building this as an independent section to the 2 sides nailed it. Next are the forward angled sections of the warp-filled grill. This was another tricky aspect to nail in order to achieve them completely transparently so that the light can pass through. 2 of these are required. You can then join them to the side grills and then reattach the slope pieces. Now it all comes together. Grab the top nacelle cover and attach the 2 side grills and the rear grill to it. This is a really exciting moment as you've obviously completely destroyed the nacelle, but as you can see, we've now almost got it back together again, but this time with full transparency. So now you're ready to install the lighting. Most lighting kits come with 2 LED strips for each nacelle. If so, tape the power ends together facing in opposite directions so that you end up with 1 long strip. You then need to form a loop out of this LED strip. It's going to be too long for the length of the nacelle, so one of the strips is going to need cutting. Now LED strips are made up of small strips that are joined together. Cut at the closest join in order to avoid damaging the circuit. In my case, I removed 120mm. If you haven't purchased the lighting kit yet, look in my video description below for a link to the BrickLink kit I used. Purchasing via that link will give me a tiny little credit, which might someday earn me a coffee or something for all my work that I've done here. I super appreciate that. Now we need to wire things up. The lighting kits come with a joiner, much like a power board, or what we like to refer to as a power coupling. Careful of the starboard power coupling though, as we all know how unreliable that is. Connect the LED strips and buzzard collector to the power coupling, plus a long cable for heading out of the nacelle. Install lights inside the buzzard collector per whatever kit you have, and then attach the buzzard collector. Stick the power coupling inside the nacelle cover. There's just no need to stick it on the outside of the nacelle as all the other kits have you do, as there's plenty of room inside of our redesign. Now insert the LED strip into the centre of nacelle, the sharp end into the 1x1 brick at the start, and the curved end in the 2x2 transparent brick at the end. Ignore me doing it wrong for a few moments there. This really is a bit fiddly. It's not hard, it's just fiddly. Take your time. Also make use of the round bricks we installed earlier as cable and LED strip guides to hold everything in place. Ensure the cabling from the buzzard collector aligns with the gap we allowed in the bottom nacelle cover. Feed the power lead through the bottom nacelle cover and then reattach. But make sure all the cabling is neat and tidy. You don't want to pinch any wires on the bricks as you join it together, so if necessary, use tweezers to help ensure that everything's lined up exactly where you want. Again, no rush, just take your time, it's a little fiddly. The nacelle pylons need to be shortened, plus their mountings realigned. Spread the pieces apart and remove everything except the long curved pieces. As I mentioned earlier, As incredibly complex as my prototypes were for these pylons, the final design ended up laughably simple, with just 4 1x1 bricks and 2 1x1 plates with clamps. A 1x1 tile then polishes it all off. That's it. Clip on the nacelle, connect your power, and turn her on. The rest of your lighting kit can be installed per the instructions or however you like really. Personally, I created conduits inside the model to allow all the wiring to be hidden. The impulse engine, I've changed the way that's lit. I think that looks a lot better. Obviously the Saucer's impulse engines are not used when docked to the star drive. Speaking of the Saucer, there shouldn't be phaser arrays on the back of it. They belong here at the top of the star drive. If you're interested in these and other changes I've made, pop a comment below, but otherwise I'd love to hear if this was of value to you. I certainly put a lot of months into coming up with this. Again, if you haven't ordered a lighting kit yet, I'd love your support by ordering using the link below. But otherwise, live long and prosper.